You won't believe what happened at the historic Woman Thou Art Loose conference held in Atlanta. It was a moment that shocked and moved thousands of people who had gathered there. For almost 30 years, this conference had been a powerful place where women from all over came to find healing, strength, and hope. Bishop T.D. Jakes, a man known around the world for his inspiring sermons and deep faith, had led this ministry for decades. But at this final conference, something special and unexpected took place. Bishop Jakes passed the leadership of this ministry to his daughter, Pastor Sarah Jakes Roberts. Let me tell you, this was no ordinary passing of the torch. It was a moment filled with deep meaning, faith, and destiny. Bishop Jakes made it clear that his decision was not about family connections or just keeping the ministry in the family. He spoke openly and emotionally about how Sarah had earned this role through her own hard work, spiritual growth, and calling from God. He said, "If I did not know that the hand of the Lord was upon you, I would never do this." Those words showed how serious and thoughtful this decision was. It wasn't just about tradition, but about trusting God's plan. What made this story even more interesting was Sarah's own life journey. She had faced many struggles that could have stopped her from becoming a leader. Becoming a mother at a very young age, living under the public's watchful eye, and dealing with personal pain were some of the challenges she had overcome. But instead of giving up, Sarah used those experiences to build a ministry that speaks directly to women who are facing their own battles. She became a symbol of strength, honesty, and hope. Her message was clear. No matter what hardships you face, there is always a way to rise again. The day Bishop Jakes passed the spiritual leadership to Sarah was emotional and powerful. As he poured oil on her head, a symbol of anointing and blessing, the crowd watched in silence. Sarah, overwhelmed by the moment, collapsed onto the stage, showing her complete submission to this new calling. This was more than a simple ceremony. It was a spiritual handing over of a legacy that had touched millions. Bishop Jakes stood over her with pride and said to the crowd, "I am announcing a new season in your life." His words were not only for Sarah, but for every woman listening, encouraging them to step boldly into their own destiny. But here's the shocking part. This moment wasn't just about Sarah stepping into her father's shoes. It marked the beginning of a new chapter for the entire ministry. Sarah had already been working hard to build her own platform called Women Evolve, where she encouraged women to break free from their fears and past struggles. This was not simply a continuation of what Bishop Jakes had started, but a fresh, modern revolution that spoke to today's women in a way that felt personal and relatable. You see, Sarah's approach was different. She didn't shy away from her past or pretend her life had been perfect. Instead, she shared her story openly, inspiring others by showing that transformation is possible no matter what mistakes or hardships one has faced. What makes this story different is how Sarah's leadership brought a new energy and vision to a ministry that had already touched millions. She and her husband co-pastored 2 thriving churches, reaching people from all walks of life. Their work was about creating communities where women and men could find real spiritual renewal and practical support. But the craziest part is that Sarah's rise wasn't just about carrying a legacy. It was about evolving it, making it relevant and powerful for a younger generation that faces unique challenges. Her messages about empowerment, resilience, and faith spoke directly to women who might feel lost or stuck, showing them they could rewrite their stories. Destiny took an unexpected turn when Bishop Jakes publicly declared that this was not about nepotism or family ties, but a divine calling. He promised to always support and protect Sarah as she led this ministry forward. The crowd, many of whom had followed both Bishop Jakes and Sarah's journey, felt the weight of this moment. They weren't just witnessing a handover, they were witnessing a spiritual movement renewing itself. The audience erupted with applause, embracing Sarah as the new leader who could take the ministry to greater heights. But here is where it gets interesting. Sarah's story wasn't always one of success. She had faced harsh criticism and public judgment, especially when she became a mother as a teenager. Many thought her future was doomed, yet she defied all odds. Instead of hiding her past, she used it to fuel her mission. This raw honesty made her relatable and trustworthy, especially to young women struggling with similar situations. Her journey from pain to purpose became a powerful testimony of faith and transformation, showing that God's grace could turn any life around. You won't believe how Bishop Jake's blessing on Sarah wasn't just a personal moment between father and daughter, but a powerful spiritual transfer that promised a new era. This transition symbolized hope for millions, encouraging every woman in that audience and beyond to step into their destiny, just like Sarah did. The legacy of Woman Thou Art Loosed was far from over. It was evolving, growing, and ready to impact lives in ways never seen before. This is how the story deepened even more. As Sarah accepted the mantle of leadership, she stood before thousands of women, feeling the full weight of the moment. The oil poured over her head was not just a ritual, it was a powerful symbol of the responsibility, strength, and spiritual anointing she was about to carry. You won't believe, but in that moment, Sarah collapsed onto the stage, overcome with emotion and the divine presence surrounding her. The audience held their breath, witnessing a truly sacred moment, a physical and spiritual passing of the torch from father to daughter. But here is the shocking part. This transition was not just a ceremony. It was a turning point that represented the next generation's rise, a new season where fresh energy and ideas would reshape the ministry. Bishop Jakes, with tears in his eyes, declared boldly that he was stepping back so Sarah could rise fully into her calling. His words, "I must decrease and you must increase," echoed the biblical story of John the Baptist stepping aside for Jesus, symbolizing a powerful act of humility and faith. This was not just a family affair, it was a divine moment that everyone there felt deeply. What makes this story different is the way Sarah's personal journey mirrored the mission she now led. Her ministry, Woman Evolve, was already inspiring thousands of women to confront their fears and embrace their true selves. Through her sermons, books, and leadership, she gave voice to those who felt silenced by shame or past mistakes. Unlike many leaders who hide their struggles, Sarah made her own story a cornerstone of hope, proving that transformation is real and possible. Her ability to connect with younger generations gave the ministry a fresh, relevant voice that spoke directly to their challenges. The craziest part is how this transition wasn't without challenges. Growing up under the public eye, facing judgment, and overcoming a teenage pregnancy that could have ended her dreams, Sarah faced criticism from all sides. Yet, destiny took an unexpected turn when she used those very struggles to build a foundation for her ministry. She became a beacon of resilience, proving that hardships can become stepping stones to greatness. Her leadership was not just about carrying on a legacy, it was about redefining it for today's world. But here is where it gets interesting. Bishop Jakes made it clear that this decision was made only after prayer and divine guidance. He said, "If I did not know that the hand of the Lord was upon you, I would never do this." This was not nepotism or favoritism. It was faith in Sarah's calling and ability. His promise to continue supporting and guiding her showed the deep bond and trust between father and daughter and the spiritual partnership that would continue to shape the ministry. As the conference ended, there was a strong feeling of both nostalgia for what had been and excitement for what was to come. Women who had come seeking healing and empowerment left inspired, ready to step into their own destinies. The torch had been passed, but the flame was burning brighter than ever. Sarah Jakes Roberts was not just a successor, she was a new kind of leader, prepared to take Woman Thou Art Loosed and Woman Evolve into a future filled with hope, strength, and transformation. Destiny took an unexpected turn as Sarah stepped fully into her new role, embracing not just the legacy she inherited, but also the fresh vision she brought to the ministry. This was more than just a change in leadership. It was the beginning of a revolution. Sarah's journey from pain to purpose became a powerful testimony for countless women who faced struggles similar to hers. You won't believe how her openness about her past, from teenage motherhood to overcoming public scrutiny, resonated deeply with those seeking hope and healing. It was a message of realness and faith that no one could ignore. Let me tell you, what made this moment even more remarkable was how Sarah combined her personal story with a modern approach. Her ministry, Woman Evolve, urged women to break free from fear and societal limitations, encouraging them to rewrite their own stories. She spoke directly to the younger generation, who saw in her a leader who understood their struggles, both spiritual and practical. This wasn't about following tradition blindly. It was about evolving with purpose and passion, and that is what made the whole transition stand out from typical family successions in ministry. But here's the shocking part. Despite the public nature of her upbringing and the immense pressure that came with being Bishop Jakes' daughter, Sarah never let those challenges define her. Instead, she turned them into her strength. Her vulnerability became a source of empowerment, proving that true leadership comes from authenticity and courage. Bishop Jakes recognized this fully, which is why he said he would always be there to put his coat over her, symbolizing his ongoing protection and support even as she leads boldly on her own. The craziest part is how this story is not just about one woman or one ministry. It's about a movement that touches millions across generations and cultures. As Sarah took up the mantle, she didn't just inherit a title. She inherited a mission to inspire women everywhere to rise above their circumstances and step into their God-given destiny. The energy in the room, the prayers, the overwhelming support from thousands of women, it all pointed to a future filled with promise and transformation. This is where it gets interesting. The final Woman Thou Art Loosed conference may have ended, but the spirit of the ministry is far from over. With Sarah Jakes Roberts at the helm, the movement is set to grow and evolve, reaching new heights with fresh ideas and a heart full of grace. Her leadership represents a new season, one of hope, empowerment, and relentless faith. It's a legacy renewed, a vision expanded, and a calling embraced with unwavering determination. In the end, this wasn't just a story about passing a torch. It was about lighting a fire that will continue to burn bright in the lives of women everywhere. The journey of Sarah Jakes Roberts teaches us all that no matter where you come from or what you've been through, destiny is waiting for you to step into it with courage and faith. And that truly is the most inspiring part of this whole story.